Interesting. Hello, everybody. It's Jillian. So I was studying the telomeres and the viruses, and they have a relationship with each other. The reason why viruses get a bad rap, hey, Murray, is because we are dealing with a population that is very weak. And so they are going to demonize anything that they would consider as contributing to their demise. However, your choices, your lifestyle, your belief system has contributed to your demise, not the viruses, not the food supply, not really anything, not Bill Gates, not the chemtrails or the 5G or anything else you want to demonize, but you alone have contributed to your own demise. So yesterday, I just discovered something that we kind of knew, but I didn't have the actual connection like substantiated. And yesterday I found substantiation to connect the telomeres, which holds your DNA, RNA, all of that holds your whole genetic code, as well as lets you know how long you have to live by the length of your telomeres. So you have your chromosomes, which on a strong body, so the jelly juicers, we have chromosomes, just like, people who are not jelly juicers. And so this is the chromosomes, and then the caps, okay, holds like 8,000 to 10,000 nucleotides, and that holds all of your different DNA, RNA, all that stuff, okay? And then so you have your string of chromosomes, and then you have a bunch of little proteins of nucleotides that hold. Now let me see how I gotta figure out how to say it. All right, so telomeres, repeat the telomeres RNA. Okay, so that's in the caps. So this portion has all of your DNA, and then you have all the RNA that keeps repeating the sequence. So as long as you're giving your body what it needs, you'll have the sequence of your arms. Let's say, you go and you pick up something really, really heavy and you put strain on your arms, so you ripped some tissue, and then the body is able to regenerate that tissue in your arms. Okay? And so you can do that on a continuous basis. So every single time you pick up something heavy, it may do a little bit of damage, but not really, not to the extent that you think, and then the body's able to repair itself without you having to really feel the difference between that action and then the reparation. Okay? So what viruses are is they're basically a hit and run. They're supposed to do a hit and run as long as your body is strong enough. So you see the little viruses that are like, this is the cell, and then there's like, maybe you can see the borderline of where the cell is, but viruses are entering into the cell and they're hitting the chromosome, and the vectors are uploading data into the telomeres. Okay, now it's the viruses are not supposed to hang out indefinitely. They leave the body at some point, or what happens is they coagulate. Okay, so on a strong body, it's supposed to hit and run, upgrade the body, and then leave the body, gets excreted through your pee, poo, mucus, all of that. And that's why people are so communicable right now, because they have so much exposure to something that's very new, and the body builds up antibodies. Okay, so then you have an antibody. See the little Y things? Those are antibodies. They get left behind, so that's like a message. And the excess antibodies that may be being created, they leave the body. Okay? So then what happens is on a weak body, those are not doing jelly juice or doing any really waterfalls at all. What happens on a weak body is you get exposed to all these viruses, and you see all these antibodies that are, so the body will still get the hit and run and the upgrade, but they have such a weak body that they are accumulating the antibodies, and those antibodies are actually destroying good tissue because you have an accumulation. Okay? And then, of course, people try to mitigate their symptoms with pills, powder, supplements, and detoxes, causing more antibodies, more imbalances. And that's what contributes to the imbalance of the microbiome, where you are inhibiting cell replication at the micro level. Okay? And so this is what I found yesterday. And that was like a picture of what it is that this paragraph is saying. Viruses and telomeres share fundamental genetic and evolutionary properties. Telomeres are repetitive sequences at the ends of our linear chromosomes of most organisms that are associated with a number of proteins. It is therefore no surprise that many viruses have pirated components of telomeres. So they probably took information from, so that's why you have mutations. Ah, here we go. So it is in other people because they pirate information, components of people's telomeres. And then that gets brought into, and then when the body releases, it has now a different strain and it jumps to another person. And this is why you're seeing then the mutations of all these different strains. Okay. So it is therefore no surprise that many viruses have pirated components of telomeres and or telomerase, including the telomeric repeat and telomerase RNA. Okay, so they're taking the RNA, and so when they go and infect somebody else, they have now that sequence until somebody goes in and upsets that sequence. So beyond that, viruses acquire the ability to modulate telomere maintenance and structure, including induction of telomerase activation. So beyond that, viruses acquired the ability to modulate telomere maintenance. So they acquired to modulate. What is modulate? Modulate to control the influence, vary the strength, tone, and pitch. So it's how it's being expressed. Okay? So hold on. I gotta look where I'm going. Okay. Okay, including induction. Okay. Okay. Including the telomere repeat. Okay. Beyond that, viruses acquire the ability to modulate telomere maintenance and structure, including induction of telomerase activation or viral integration into host telomeres. In some cases, viruses and telomeres have a conflict of interest, with telomeres working to maintain host genome integrity and viruses seeking to be unleashed from these restraints. Okay, so you get it now. Okay, viruses are not supposed to be there indefinitely, just, sitting there. No, they're supposed to actually leave the body, and they go and infect or invade, or whatever you want to call it, something or somebody else. And it's an upgrade process. Right now we are going through a major global upgrade. My dog went through it. It was a week of holy crap. My husband went through it. Though, is he upgraded? He has enough to keep him alive. So, but if he were to do the jilly juice, be really upgraded. He survived his exposure. Okay, that's great. Some people will survive their exposure, but if they're not actively regenerating, it's just going to keep chipping away every single time he gets an upgrade to his body. Okay, I experienced the upgrade several times over, at least 5 or 6 times this month. 5 or 6 times, okay? A stagnated, sluggish immune system, sluggish digestive process, sluggish everything, they're going to hold on to the antibodies, which is the body's way of protecting the body from too much or an imbalance of viruses. Okay, because you can be exposed to a virus and a weak body that's not able to release the exposure of that virus, the excess, because you'll still get the DNA, but you're not supposed to get so much of that data because the body can only handle so much. So then it creates antibodies as a balancing force. But if you're not getting rid of the antibodies, then that's when you have diagnoses of cancer, disease, chronic illness, and all of that. So on a strong body, again, strong body, it's a hit and run, upgrade, leave, excrete, okay? And then you have a few antibodies just as a message. Okay, that's the chromosome. The telomeres are the little caps at the end, and that's your DNA, linear DNA. And then those are the viruses that you're exposed to, you never can get away from. And this is a strong body. Strong bodies are able to handle the virus upload and still be able to function and maintain without too many discomfort as far as the upgrade process or symptoms. A very weak body will be holding on to viral data, excess viral data the body doesn't need, and it creates antibodies, and then those antibodies then go and attack good tissue. So a weak body, hit and run, you still get the upgrade, but it tries to leave and excrete, and maybe some does come out, but not enough because you have a very stagnated body that's not allowing the excess to leave the body, and then you start accumulating antibodies, of which then capitalizes on your weaknesses, and this is where people die from heart attacks, strokes, brain aneurysms, pneumonia, bronchitis, all of that. Then you start getting other diagnoses. Let's say you don't have a major weakness, then you start getting diagnoses like you have obesity, diabetes, autoimmune disorders. So you may not die from the coronavirus, but you'll start seeing an acceleration of diagnoses of cancer, of hypoglycemia, of any predisposition you have. Okay? So, anyways, just relook at this. Just relook at all of this, Mary, okay? Sometimes you'll have lags and whatever. I will see how this works out. But if anybody else has experienced any skipping, let me know. But yeah, it is what it is, okay? My husband's working on getting a microphone and all of that worked out in the next, but I'm going to have another book come out anyways, so people understand this, and I'll have better audio visual. But anyways, at this point, that's what's going on, is why we have diagnoses, because people are holding on to antibodies. And anybody else have you experienced any skipping on this? Just let me know, besides Mary. But that's why we have diagnoses of cancer, disease, and chronic illness. So just know that you'll see an upturn of people getting, issues. All right? But I'm going to go because that was just my little thing. But just keep that in mind. I'll talk to you later. Praise God, back to you. Bye.